A shadow over India, crimes against women. India, a land of vibrant culture and rich history, bears a heavy burden. The safety of its women is under constant threat. Newspaper headlines scream of horrific incidents: rape, acid attacks, domestic violence. These are not isolated events. They are symptoms of a deep-rooted problem. The statistics are alarming. The National Crime Records Bureau of India paints a grim picture. Every day, countless women face harassment, assault, and worse. The fear is palpable. It restricts their freedom. It limits their potential. The fear is not unfounded. The stories are real. Stories like that of Jyoti Singh, the young woman gang-raped in Delhi in 2012. Her brutal assault sparked outrage. It forced India and the world to confront the horrific reality of gender-based violence. Beyond headlines, understanding the roots of gender violence. To address this issue, we must look beyond the headlines. We must understand the complex interplay of factors that contribute to violence against women in India. Patriarchal norms run deep in Indian society. Traditional gender roles often confine women to the domestic sphere. They limit their access to education and economic opportunities. This power imbalance creates a breeding ground for discrimination and violence. Legal loopholes and ineffective law enforcement exacerbate the problem. Conviction rates for crimes against women remain low. This lack of accountability emboldens perpetrators. It leaves women feeling vulnerable and unprotected.
Furthermore, inadequate infrastructure such as poorly lit streets and lack of safe public transportation increases women's vulnerability to attack. The problem is complex and multifaceted, demanding a comprehensive and sustained response.
The 2012 Delhi gang rape case served as a brutal wake-up call for India. The sheer brutality of the crime shook the nation's conscience. It ignited widespread protests. People demanded justice for Jyoti and safety for all women.
The government responded with legal reforms. They strengthened laws against sexual assault. They introduced stricter punishments for perpetrators. Fast-track courts were established to expedite justice in such cases. While these reforms were a step in the right direction, their impact remains uneven. Implementation of laws is crucial. Changing deeply ingrained societal attitudes is paramount. The fight for women's safety in India is far from over, or they say.
A global crisis: violence against women worldwide. Sadly, violence against women is not unique to India. It is a global pandemic, affecting women and girls across continents and cultures. The World Health Organization estimates that 1 in 3 women worldwide experiences physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. The forms of violence may vary. The underlying factors are often similar: discriminatory social norms, power imbalances, and lack of access to justice are common threads.
Whether it is domestic violence in a wealthy suburb or sexual assault in a conflict zone, the root causes are interconnected. The fight for women's safety is a global one. It requires a collective effort from governments, civil society, and individuals worldwide. We must challenge harmful norms. We must demand accountability. We must create a world where women are safe and empowered.
Section 5. Developed nations' progress and persisting challenges. Developed nations, despite their economic and social progress, are not immune to this global crisis.
Domestic violence rates remain alarmingly high in many Western countries. Sexual harassment in the workplace is a persistent problem. While significant strides have been made in legislation and awareness raising, challenges remain.
Gender pay gaps persist. Women are underrepresented in positions of power. These inequalities contribute to a culture where violence against women can flourish.
Developed nations must address these systemic issues. They must continue to invest in support services for survivors. They must promote gender equality in all spheres of life. Only then can they truly claim to be champions of women's rights.
Section 6. Developing World Shared Struggles. Varied Responses. The situation in many developing nations mirrors India's struggles.
Cultural norms often perpetuate gender inequality. Limited access to education and healthcare further marginalizes women. Poverty and lack of opportunities can trap women in abusive situations.
However, amidst these challenges, there are glimmers of hope. Grassroots organizations are working tirelessly to empower women. They provide legal aid, education, and shelter to survivors of violence. They challenge discriminatory norms and advocate for policy changes.
The international community must support these efforts. By investing in education, healthcare, and economic opportunities for women, we can help break the cycle of poverty and violence.
Section 7. Conflict zones, a heightened threat to women. In conflict zones, violence against women reaches horrific levels.
Armed groups often use sexual violence as a weapon of war. Displacement and breakdown of law and order increase women's vulnerability to abuse. The trauma inflicted on women in these situations is unimaginable.
They're often left with physical and psychological scars. They face stigma and discrimination within their own communities.
The international community has a moral obligation to protect women in conflict. We must demand accountability for perpetrators of war crimes. We must provide comprehensive support to survivors, including medical care, counseling, and legal aid.
Section 8. International efforts, a united front for change. Recognizing the global nature of this crisis, the international community has taken significant steps to address violence against women.
The United Nations has played a leading role in setting standards and promoting cooperation. The Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, or CEDAW, adopted in 1979, provides a comprehensive framework for achieving gender equality. It has been ratified by the majority of UN member states, demonstrating a global commitment to ending violence against women.
Numerous other international agreements and initiatives focus on specific aspects of the issue, such as trafficking, sexual violence in conflict, and female genital mutilation. These efforts, while commendable, require sustained commitment and effective implementation to bring about lasting change. Section 9. Challenges to progress. Obstacles to overcome. Despite these efforts, numerous challenges hinder progress in the fight against violence against women.
Deeply entrenched patriarchal attitudes and discriminatory social norms remain major obstacles. Lack of political will and inadequate resources often hamper the implementation of laws and policies. Corruption and weak law enforcement create a culture of impunity for perpetrators.
Addressing these challenges requires a multi-pronged approach. We need to strengthen legal frameworks. We need to invest in education and awareness-raising campaigns. We need to empower women and girls and challenge harmful gender stereotypes. Section 10. India's path steps toward a safer future. India in recent years has taken some positive steps towards ensuring women's safety.
The introduction of stricter laws following the 2012 Delhi case is a testament to that commitment. The government has also launched various initiatives to empower women and promote gender equality. These include programs to improve girls' education, provide financial inclusion, and enhance women's participation in the workforce.
While these efforts are commendable, much more needs to be done. Implementation of laws remains a challenge. Societal attitudes need to change. Investing in education, healthcare, and economic opportunities for women is crucial for long-term progress. Section 11. A collective responsibility toward a world free from violence. The fight for women's safety is not just a women's issue. It is a human rights issue. It is a societal issue. It is a global issue. It demands a collective response from all segments of society.
Men and boys have a crucial role to play in challenging harmful masculinity norms. They can be powerful allies in promoting gender equality. Religious leaders and community elders can use their influence to challenge discriminatory practices and promote respect for women.
Ultimately, creating a world free from violence against women requires a fundamental shift in societal attitudes and beliefs. We must challenge the deep-rooted patriarchal norms that perpetuate gender inequality. We must create a culture of respect, empathy, and equality. Only then can we truly ensure the safety, dignity, and freedom of all women.